You're here with the pack mates, and we're doing the Dominaria United red cards. Starting off with the commons with Coalition War Brute. 3 colorless, 1 red for a 3/4 Minotaur Berserker with Enlist and Trample. I got this guy as a solid 6. He's probably one of the best Enlist guys I've seen this whole set. That Trample is going to be really worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree. Trample's real on a card like that.
Go ahead and jot me down for a 7, dogs. Super good.
Yeah.
Super good. 5/4 trample for 4. Yeah, all day.
I'm with you all day on that too. I mean, 6, 7, that's where I'm at.
All right, next we got Flowstone Infusion, which is 1 red for an instant. Target creature gets +2/-2 until end of turn. I like these. I like these cards. They're cute. I would probably give this like a 5. Like it's not good, but you're gonna play at least you're gonna play this if you get them for free. I like it. I've won at least one in my red decks.
Jot me down for a 2 on this one. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Real bad.
It gets it's okay.
I'm up for a 3 with this one.
This isn't an aggressive card at all.
You're tagging it on to some of the smaller guys.
Wait a second. Sorry. Never mind. I'm a 6.
What?
This is shock.
Yeah. Yeah. It is shock. It's it's not good in aggressive decks, but it's always going to be like a lifesaver for Dirtle decks. We love cards like this. You want small removal to remove small creatures if you have big creatures, right? This is good.
Yeah, this is definitely playable. You're right. I don't know. I was just thinking about buffing my stuff. I was like, I'm not doing that. But it's shock. It's shock. Or you can, chomp with the 1/1 and then kill something. It's pretty good.
I got it at 4. Now I moved it up 1. Just because you said shock, you invoked it.
All right, next we got Flowstone Kavu. It's 2 colorless and a red for a 2/3 menace. You can pay a red, it gets +1/-1 until end of turns. Potential 4/1 menace for just a cost of only 2 reds when it's attacking or when it's blocking, whatever you want it to do. Seems solid. Seems like a solid playable. I'm gonna give it a 5. Maybe Virgin on 6. I feel like I've already gave out too many 6s and 7s on red commons, but it's a 5.
He's a 5, And when you get that menace going and you just pump this guy up to a 4, he's trading with 2 things.
Yeah, I agree. Solid, playable red card that I'm never gonna put in my deck. But it's good. It's solid.
All right. Next up we have Furious Bellow, 1 colorless, 1 red for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+0 and first strike until the end of turn, scry 1. So I think it was like Sure Strike. Was that it?
Yep.
The 3. Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. It really got there. Most of the time it would get there. Having Scry tacked onto it, not too bad. I think it's a solid 5 for me.
I got a 6 on it. This is what you want in your red-blue decks. The fact that you get an extra Scry 1 is kind of real too. Like this is like the main instant you want to be casting in those decks. Like if you're aggressive, like this card's a bomb.
On those little 2/1 vigilance guys,
yeah,
man,
it's good on that, but like kind of not really.
Yeah, because
like,
you don't get
you got.
But it's a good finisher.
Speed, yeah.
Like if you got 2/1 vigilances,
this card's a beating.
That's 7 damage. 2/1s, that's 7 damage. That's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. But yeah, I'm at like 5 with it. I could see it being a 4, but I'll start off at 5.
Solid. Next, we have Get to Amplifier, which is 1 and a red for a 1/2 human wizard with kicker 2 and a blue. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Get to Amplifier gets +2/+0 until end of turn. This is like a 6, possibly a 7. Like imagine Sure Striking this. This card's disgusting. And like the kicker is real too. You could do that if you ever needed to. Like it's pretty flexible and like a bread and butter piece of this deck.
Like this dies to like every playable 2-drop, I feel like.
You cast the 1 mana blue cantrip, and this is a 3/2, and they lose 1 power on their creature too.
Yeah, this guy's insane. For me, he's a 7. That kicker is nothing to sneeze at. That is a good ability. Just mana warring something back. You can you can list this guy,
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
and so you're just giving like plus something like massive power to somebody else. If you really got a couple of spells going, that is pretty nuts. I think this guy's really strong, and he's great in that red blue deck. Just this guy's good at every point. Like he's a threat on the board on 2, and at 5, you're just bouncing back something, getting value on this guy immediately.
This guy will not make the cut if you're not in red blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd splash an off color something. If I had a dual land or something that had the blue in it, I think that's just like value in that. I think this guy's good.
This isn't like a red white card. This is a red blue card for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like making the cut in other decks. Is what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah,
think you're.
but like the deck that he's a part of, he's
Yeah,
a
like build around. He's like a 7/8, but like baseline, he's a 5. Next we have Goblin Picker, colorless in a red for a 2/2. Pay a red, tap, discard a card, then draw a card. Discard a card is part of the cost here, so I don't think you can really game that. And it's a 2/2 for 2. Let you kind of loot for 1. I don't think this is super good. It's okay. It's probably a little bit better than the little spells matter deck, but I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah, I got this guy at a 4. That's pretty decent. It's kind of cool that they gave him a 2/2. Normally these dudes are like 1/2s, and they cost 1 more mana, but you got the activation cost as well. But it's solid. I'd say 4.
Yeah, I have it at 4. It's mid. It's a bear.
All right, next up we got Hammerhand. 1 red. Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. When Hammerhand enters the battlefield, target creature cannot block this turn. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and haste. I mean, we see kind of these cards all the time in a way. I mean, this is like a 3, maybe a 2. I think it's probably more of a 2.
Yeah, I have it at 3. It reminded me of the cartouche from Amonkhet, but it doesn't return the trial. So like this is mid. Like you don't want to waste a card doing this.
Yeah, this could easily be 22 or 23 and like a hyper focused deck, but yeah, it's not super good. It's definitely not super good. I mean, can't block and haste is like a pretty big swing when you're trying to push that last bit of damage in, though. Like, play a 3-drop, give it haste, and something can't block. Like, that's pretty big. But because that's like a
Alright.
two dude swing on the board state, right? But
All right. Next up, we have Enthrall to the Pit, which is 3 and red for a sorcery with kicker 2 and a black. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. The spell is kicked. Sacrifice the creature at the beginning of the next end step. Threaten effect. These are kind of a thing in some formats. I don't know. I'd probably give this a 4. But it could be way better. The fact that you can kick it isn't nothing, but it's infinity mana.
it is 7 mana. These things, I mean, for 4, usually it's like do something else for me. Like usually, your average threaten effect is 3 that does nothing, but this one is like 4 and it does nothing, but it has a kicker for 3. I feel like this is going to be like a little bit worse. Like if you have a bunch of sack outlets, it's obviously better in your deck, but sign me up for a 4 on this one.
Wow, you guys are. I think you guys are completely off on this thing. This thing is insane. Just taking the creature and just the built-in combo. Like you normally seek out combos for this kind of thing all the time. You normally pay a kicker of like Bone Shard of something else to like, Deadly Dispute or something like that with this kind of effect. The fact that it just has it stapled onto it already, you're getting their best creature attacking with it, and then it's just dying. Like that's pretty good. Even for 7, I think that's pretty strong. You get to attack with it, gain the effect of whatever it is.
I don't know. I can't go that high.
7 mana for a 7 Removal? 7
Yeah,
cost removal spell? Okay, so if there was like a 7 mana, kill something, deal 4 face, would that be worth it?
might be.
I don't think so.
I think if you get some ability off of it too, like if it's like drawing a card from a creature or it does something else with its ability, like the sky on living on this thing. But I don't know, I like it as a 7. Probably more of a 6 though. I might be overrating it.
I don't know, man. Stick to it. You might be right.
I
Like
was solid
if this
for it.
is like super late, like if it's super late, this format is slow. It's gonna be way better. But next we got Jaya's Fire NATO. 4 colorless and a red. Deal 5. Oh, it's a sorcery. Deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Scry 1 for 5. These are very mid-tier removal. They're not great. Doesn't feel great when you have them, but sometimes you need them because you don't have anything else. To me, it's like a 5 reaching towards 4. Like you're taking this late, and you're just sad if you end up having to play too many of them. You only want 1 max.
Yeah, I haven't seen any. I'm not sure where this lands. I haven't seen any like major big green or anything creatures yet. I mean, 5's probably good enough. Sorcery is all right for this kind of effect. The Scry 1 is kind of cute, just tacked onto it. I like that it hits Planeswalker as well, but those are corner cases. I don't know. It's a solid, like, it probably makes my deck most of the time, depending on how low to the ground I am. I don't know, it's like a 5.
Yeah, but I like 4. I don't like to play these.
All right, next up, we've got Keldon Strike Team. 2 colorless and a red for a 3/1 human warrior. It has kicker, 1 colorless and a white. When Keldon Strike Team enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 2 1/1 white soldier tokens. As long as Keldon Strike Team enter the battlefield this turn, creatures you control have haste. Wow, this is not bad. That's pretty good value for this guy. I think he's a solid 6. I like the haste kicker on him as well.
Yeah, I have him at 7. I think this is like your best red common, genuinely. Like this just comes out of nowhere. This is basically heroic reinforcement.
It's like a 3/1 haste on its own for 3.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Yeah. You don't even got to kick it.
yeah. The kicking
Yeah.
it just gives you the 1/1s. Yeah,
Two
which is
two
so
one
good. Yeah,
ones.
2/1 pretty good.
solid.
Yeah, I have it at 7 as well. I don't know if it's better than the 3/4 enlist trample guy though, but it's close.
Next up, we have lightning strike, which is 1 and a red for instant. Lightning strike deals 3 damage to any target. This is a reprint. This is pretty solid. This is probably like a 7. This is like premium red removal. Doesn't kill
Yeah.
everything, but it's good. And can go face.
Yeah, this is like the definition of a 7, just like murder, lightning strike. Those are all they're just 7s. That's where the 7 came from. I feel like.
Yeah, this is a 7. It's one of your commons. You're just going to always try to get this in your deck.
Next we have Maria's Outrider. It's 4 colorless and a red for a 4/4 elf archer with reach. Has domain. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control. So 4/4 for 5 with reach, potentially doing anywhere from 2 to 5 face. That's pretty decent. I don't know if it's like the super big payoff that domain wants, but it's a big body to gum up the ground and the air. The 4/4 is pretty hard to get by. I'm gonna give it a 4.
I got it at a 5. I think it could verge on a 4 too. I think it's nice that it just a little bit of extra damage in the air. This guy's a little undercosted for normally you get that 4/4 reach for 4 in some of these things, but it has a drawback. This has really no drawback except it's just giving you some stuff, so it probably warrants the 5. I think it's 5.
Yeah, I'm at 5. I think like you don't like pick this, but like if you get a late in your domain decks, you're gonna put it in. You're just gonna dome people for 5. Like and you're just gonna have a big reacher. It's good. It's okay.
Next up is Molten Monstrosity. 7 colorless and a red for a 5/5 Hellion. This spell costs less, where X is the greatest number or the greatest power among creatures you control, and it has trample. This is one of the more expensive ones in this set. I'll give it a 5.
I think this is a 5. I think you're possibly a 6. I think there's ways to kind of cheat this into play that would make it like worthwhile. Maybe a 5. I'm between 5 and 6 on it. I think it's okay. Trample's the most relevant. Yeah.
This is an 8, dog. This is an 8. This is the best red common in, especially like the Spells Matter deck with the Cone Fiend and the buffs and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, this is going to cost 1. Like, sometimes. It's going to be absolutely absurd. Like, you want this way over the blue one in that deck, in my opinion. And Enlist, like, you just buff something, make it a 5/4 trample, and now this costs 3? What? This card is gonna be insane. It's an 8. This is an 8.
Next up, we have Smash to Dust, which is 1 and a red for sorcery. Choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target creature with Defender. Smash to Dust deals 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. You choose 1. This is like a sideboard 4. You're gonna bring it in sometimes, but
I feel like every mode is gonna at least like get something. Like you're gonna at least get one thing with it. You're not super.
would you play this over a teardrop?
Depends on my deck. It depend. Like if I'm like the late game, like red green big stuff deck, probably. But like this will be again bottom 3 cards of your deck.
This is 4. I like the flexibility of it, and you're gonna put this in. All these choice cards for the most part, you put them in best of 1. I mean, that's just you need that flexibility. I think it's fine. It's sideboard most of the time in your 2 out of 3s. It's a 4.
1 damage to each creature your opponents control is never blanked. Like you can swing and manipulate that, and it can kill like a million 1/1s against the white deck. Like it's just, it could be the ceiling is through the roof. All right, next we got Thrill of Possibility. It's colorless and a red instant. It's a reprint. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. This would be real good in the Spells Matter deck. This would be decent in aggressive decks. This would be worse in every other deck. It's a 4, but if you want it, you want it.
I don't know. It's kind of a 3 to me. It's always kind of on the cusp of getting cut.
Yeah, this is solid. I'd probably give this a 4. This is like what the red blue decks want to be doing. I think it's less than Impulse. It's less good than Impulse, but sometimes you don't get all the impulses and you have to run throws of possibility, and it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
All right. Next up is Vishanu Branch Rider. 1 red for a 1/1 Vishanu Warrior. Its kicker cost is 2 colorless and a green haste. If the Branch Rider was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And then for 2 colorless and a red, Vishanu Branch Walker gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. It's not bad. Like a 3/3 haste, pretty strong, and it's kicked. And then with the fire breathing, it becomes a real threat off the top. I kind of like this guy. I don't know if I like him as a 1-drop, but we've seen 1-drop fire breathers like this be kind of good sometimes given the format. So I really think this could be anywhere from like a 5. I think it's a 5, but it's probably more of a 6 if you can kick it all the time.
I'm at 5. Most of the good 1-drop creatures like this that we see have first strike, but turning it into a 3/3 haster for 4 is decent. That's not the end of the world. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm between 4 and 5. I just feel like for 4, I'd rather be doing better things, and for 1, it's not even worth the deck slot. I don't know, but the option there is like something, so I have it at 4.
Yep. Next up, we have Maya Steel Crusher, which is 1 and a red for a 2/2 ape with enlist and 1 sacrifice. You have Maya Steel Crusher and destroy target artifact. This is like super mid bear for 2. Like it's just a 4 for me. I don't think enlist is going to be relevant on it.
I'm definitely playing this as a 2-drop if I can. I'm not super prioritizing it, but this is not a top tier 2-drop, but it's a C+ 2-drop, B- 2-drop. It's pretty good. A 5. I'm giving it a 5.
I think it's more of a 4 to me. I don't know how relevant that artifact destruction is going to be. I know it's nice to have versatility under creatures, especially in best of 1, but yeah, I don't know if that enlist mechanic's enough to get this one over the top.
All right. Next we have Balduvian Berserker for 2 colorless of red, and it's a 1/3, and we're starting our uncommons. So it's a core Berserker uncommon 1/3 within the list. And whenever it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. 3 mana 1/3 in list. That's like a 7. That's very good. You enlist it, they block it, trades, and it kills something else. It's a 2-for-1. It's definitely a 7. It could even be an 8.
Yeah, I'm with a 7 on this guy. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a decently costed dude. 1/3 for 3. The enlist mechanic. This is where you really get to feature that quite a bit there. Dealing its power to any target. Any target's really good
Any
too.
target, yeah. Oh my god.
I'm kind of glad that they've kind of templated that any target in this set quite a bit more.
Yeah, if enlist is good, I would agree that it's a 7. I just don't know if it's gonna get there. I'm probably put this as 6. This is the best enlist card I've seen so far, but I'm still not super impressed.
Next up is Dragon Whelp. It's a 2 colorless double red for a 2/3 flying dragon. For 1 red, Dragon Whelp gets a +1/+0 until the end of turn. If this ability has been activated 4 or more times this turn, sacrifice Dragon Whelp at the end step. This is a reprint. And man, really classic reprint here. I like it. You know, it's pretty decent. That fire breathing always. I don't know how hard it's going to be to activate that ability with that red if you're trying to go in that domain strategy or bringing in different colors. It might not be as easy to get there with it. So I think it's a 6. Just good flyer.
I have it at a 4. I don't think this is playable. Like, I don't know how much extra red mana you're gonna have to just like activate this a shit ton. Like, I don't know. It has drawbacks on my 4 mana 2/3 flyer. Seems
Mhm.
pretty terrible. I don't love it. I don't think you're gonna see too many of us.
The drawback is non-existent.
You can't kill
The
people with
drawback is
it.
like, if you're
Like
gonna win the game, then just win
you
the
can't
game.
turbo kill
Yeah, you
people with it,
can.
right? Like it's I don't know.
You certainly can. You can put 10 into it, and it just kills them, and then it dies. But they're already dead, so it doesn't matter. I have it at 5. I have it right between you guys.
Next up, we have Electrostatic Infantry, which is 1 and a red for a 1/2 dwarf with trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Electrostatic Infantry. Ah, this has 7. This is what you want to be doing in red blue.
Is it okay outside of red blue?
No, I don't think so. Because like it could have been if it was non-creature spell. Like we used to play Spellgorger weird with like janky enchantments and stuff, but like this is kind of worse. This is like they like restricted it to red blue basically. Like I don't even think you play this in mono red.
You definitely do. I mean, it's like 1 counter on it, and it's above rate.
I don't think it's free value in the same way that
I mean, it's just like a lightning strike, right? Like you're gonna have if you're mono red without lightning strikes, then why the hell are you mono red? I don't.
but you need lightning strike in your hand to make this a playable card. Like I don't know. I'm 7 on it, but I don't think you play this outside of red blue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 7 on it too, but I think you can play it in any deck that's red, and maybe not like the domain crazy deck, but like any deck that's X red.
I think it's a 6. I'm not as high on that. You know, normally when we see these kind of guys to get the +1, you know, they sometimes like have some kind of haste or it's like some better evasion than just trample. Like this guy's definitely lower than that. Normally we see him at 3 when they have those kind of abilities. This is kind of a little different. I just don't know how relevant it's going to be. And if it's outside of the deck, inside the deck, I think it's probably like a 7, but outside of the deck, it's probably a 6. It's still solid playing it.
Next, we have Fires of Victory. It's a colorless and a red for an instant. Has kicker 2 and a blue. This spell is kick, draw a card. Fires of Victory deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the number of cards in your hand. 2 mana to a creature or planeswalker for the number of cards in your hand. 5 mana to also draw a card. I'm not really hype on this one. I don't think it's very good. Give me a 4, maybe a 3.
Yeah, this is pretty tough. You know, this is not Tribal Flames. This is like I got to hold a bunch of cards in my hand. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like a It's like a Flame Rift or something like it was Flame Rift or something that did deal like 4 damage. Like this is gonna deal 4 damage to something when you play it on turn 2, right? It's probably like a 5 to me. You're never gonna want to top deck this. Is pretty bad.
I have this at like 4. I think it's not the end of the world to top deck this though, but I'm not super sold.
All right. Next up, you got Hurler Cyclops. 3 colorless, double red for a 5/4 Cyclops creature. For 1 colorless, sacrifice another creature. Hurler Cyclops deals 1 damage to any target. I've got this like at a 5. It's pretty decent. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of value out of this when you start hurling some tokens at people. And it's kind of cool that you can kind of finish out a game with this too. So it's not a bad top deck in a deadlock board.
Yeah, I have this at like 4. This is like the worst playable win con you can have. Like, I hate it. But like, it's gonna win games, but I fucking hate it. It's terrible.
Did you guys know there's a instant speed card that gives you things death touch? Did you know that? Do you know if this guy gets death touch, what he can do?
That changes nothing about my evaluation of it.
This is a red black gold card.
Nick, Ryan.
Oh, I mean, if you're like doing all that to kill one card, that's pretty bad. But like you're swinging with them, they're blocking. You're giving them death touch and indestructible, and then you're stacking some
I
other
can pay 2
stuff.
cards
It's gonna be
to kill 2
disgusting.
cards. Once you get up to 3, up to
No,
3,
absolutely
then you're like breaking even. You're like getting ahead, but
This is not only good in the red black deck where it would be like the best, right? Like, because you're gonna have sack fodder, you're gonna have stuff to like sacrifice and do, like you don't care. But in any red leaning aggressive deck, this is just a pretty good curve topper to just blow up your board and end the game. In the red white go white deck, this is gonna be absolutely terrifying, when they play this. Like you're gonna say, I have 1 turn to kill that, or I'm gonna
yeah,
lose the game.
I still hate it. Hell no.
It's a
Hell
7.
no.
This is a 7. Give him lifelink and indestructible. Could even be an 8, dude. This card is good. This card is bonkers.
Do you remember that time we talked about this permanent that sacrificed treasures,
Artifacts, yeah.
artifacts? Do you remember how good you thought that was and how
This
bad
is
it turned
way
out?
better. This is way better.
There's so many. You need so many pieces around this guy to be good, and you still need a bunch of creatures on board to even get this guy started.
He's a 5/4 for 5. What do you mean you need other stuff to get him started? What's wrong with the 5/4 for 5 stat line? That's on curve.
All right, next up we have Hurloon Battle Hymn, which is 2 in a red for an instant with 1 white kicker. Hurloon Battle Hymn deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was kicked, you gain 4 life. I like this a lot. It's premium removal 7. The life gain isn't irrelevant.
I personally think the life gain pushes them maybe to an 8. Like, that's a huge swing. 4 damage and 4 life. I think it's very good. Very good.
Yeah, this 6 or 7. It's premium removal. There's nothing more to see here. Just good.
Like, are you taking this or Lightning Strike?
I'm taking this, but
I'd probably take Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike hits face.
Man, I would take
First,
this over
I'd
Lightning
I'd probably
Strike.
this
First
over
copy for
first pick, I
sure.
guess. I'd rather have more Lightning Strikes than I don't know, man. Cards like this are always kind of funky when they just hit creatures.
Next, we have Phoenix Chick. It's a red. It's just only a red for a 1/1 flying haste. Phoenix Chick can't block, and whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay double red. If you do, return Phoenix Chicks from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped into the attacking with a 1/1 counter on it. So it comes back as a 2/2. Can't block, but 1/1 that comes back as a 2/2 flyer. 2/2 flyer trades with a lot of stuff, a lot of flyers. Sign me up for a 5, maybe even a 6 on this one. I'll go 5.
Oh my gosh, this is a 1. This is so bad. Oh my gosh. How many times are you attacking with 3 or more creatures?
In red white, every turn.
Oh man, no, I don't like this card. I just don't like it. Can't block. I mean, it's just getting out there. It's gonna deal like maybe 2 damage or something like that, and then they finally blank it. I don't like it.
I got this
I think
at like
it's a
7.
1.
This card's gonna be annoying as fuck. This card is gonna be so
Oh my
annoying.
gosh.
When people play this against
I'm
you, you're
shocked.
just gonna be like, God damn it.
I'm
I'm just gonna have a stupid
All right.
2/2 flyer coming in hot every turn. This card's annoying as fuck. Like, this card's gonna be stupid. This is gonna wreck me and all my defender decks every time. like this card's gonna just shit all over me constantly. Because I don't respect it, but it's gonna beat me all the time, for sure.
Wow, that's a big discrepancy. Let's see who's right. Yeah, well, yeah, this is the biggest one thus far.
That's a huge discrepancy on
It's
that
a
one.
one drop. It's annoying. It is a good one drop.
It's a damn good one drop.
The hottest take. All right. We'll see what it says. We'll see.
This is basically Monastery Swiftspear.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're
Ridiculous.
right.
It's
you're
more
right.
like Goblin Guy,
You're
Roby,
right.
Jesus. Yeah. You know what I hate?
This
Two
is not
flyers
going
for
into that
one that
2/3
can't be
flyer
killed.
that's a common in freaking. It just dies to the 2/3 flyer that's common in blue. And
That costs like 1 trillion mana. This costs 2 mana.
this costs 1 mana, and that
1 mana, and then it comes back infinitely forever.
Yeah, but then it instantly gets blocked by this. Like, I don't know. Nah,
For 2.
not a fan.
Jesus. I'll put my career on the line. There's no way it's a 1. There's absolutely no way it's a 1.
Sprouting Goblin for 1 colorless and 1 red. You get a 2/2 Goblin Druid with kicker green. When Sprouting Goblin enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, search your library for a land with a basic land type. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then for 1 red, tap, sacrifice a land, draw a card. This guy is gas. I like it. It's a 6. Could be verging on a 7. This guy just has real good stuff about it. Getting that land is good on 3, and then making sure that you're going to just keep flowing in cards in the late game. Very good. 6. Probably 7.
Yeah, I'm at 6, possibly 7. It's leaning towards 7. Like, do you want this in all your domain decks? Like, the fact that it gets like the dual lands too is sick. It's gas.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Completely agree.
Okay, next up we have Twinferno, which is 1 and a red for an instant. Choose one. Whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Or target creature you control gains double strike until end of turn. This seems like gas back. I like that it's modal. Like, it kind of like, yeah, I like this card a lot. I'd probably put it at like 6. The fact that it's modal is sick.
This is legitimately terrifying. And
Yeah, this is the card that like makes you sweat.
the Spells Matter deck with the like little Kiln Fiend guy, or like even in list with the trample, like you're just like, if they have Twinferno, I lose. Like, that's it. Game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card's insane.
But yeah, with that being said, it is somewhat built around not super built around but somewhat built around.
All right, I got it as 6 too. I think it's just good. I mean, every mode of that is good.
All right, next we got Warhost Frenzy, 2 and a red for an instant with kicker of a black. Creature you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, whenever a creature you control dies this turn, draw a card. Ooh, I like it. +2/+0 for 3, and maybe drawing some cards, just refilling after you just completely blow each other out. That's flirting with the 7 in the right deck. Like, you have to be very careful because you can't just jam this with no bodies. You need 15 to 18 bodies to jam like cards like this. But if you can make it work, it's so good. I'm gonna go with a 7.
I got it at a 5. It's all right. I mean, some people really like those go wide strategies. And I think this thing could just be, even at its worst, it's probably trading something, and then you're maybe getting the kicker out of it. So that's kind of good. So 5, very conditional.
I've got this at 7. This is fucking grotesque. Like, this is like, if you want to talk about cards that are horrifying, like, this card is fucking terrifying. Like, it fucks up all of the combat math, and then like if you kick it, you can draw a shit ton of cards. This is disgusting.
Like, imagine copying that with Twinferno.
Your Tia declares war for this is a 1 colorless, 1 red enchantment saga with read ahead. The first chapter is create a colorless 0/2 creature Thopter artifact creature token with flying named Ornithopter. That's kind of cool. 2. The chapter 2 is tap any number of untapped artifacts you control. When you do, your Rita declares war, deals that much damage to target creature or planeswalker. And chapter 3 is up to 1 target artifact creature you control becomes a creature with a base power and toughness of 4/4 until the end of turn. I give it like a 4 or 5. I'm kind of in the middle there. I could be swayed either way, but I'm leaning more towards a 4.
I'm kind of at a 3. I'm not paying 2 mana for an Ornithopter. Like, even if I don't know, it seems kind of bad to me. It might be better. I just don't know. I'm I have to be proven.
Like, I would hands down pay 2 mana for like all these effects at the same time. Like an O2 that comes into play and deals 1
Yeah,
damage.
the fact that you're waiting though.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like an O2 that deals 1 damage that becomes a 4/4 the first time it attacks. I would definitely do that. I think it's fine. I think it's a 5. I don't think like you're super excited about it. If you have a ton of artifacts and you just like if the second one is like kill a 4-drop, then it's like super good. But I think it's fine on its own. Like you don't want it in an aggro deck, but it's fine.
All right, next up we have Chaotic Transformation, which is 5 and a red for a rare sorcery. Exile up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, up to 1 target planeswalker, and up to 1 target land. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a card that shares a card type with it. Puts that card onto the battlefield, then shuffles. I'm just gonna put this at a 0. My brain can't comprehend it. I don't care. Like, I'm never gonna read this card ever again in my life.
Yeah, it's like bad, but like you can kill some stuff and they get some maybe better stuff. So if you're into that, go for it. Or you can kill your own stuff and you could maybe get better stuff. I think it's a 0 though.
Yeah, I think it's a 0. Most of these chaos cards aren't very good. I mean, they're good and constructed or what have you, but this one's even higher costed. And just run the risks of these things are just way too much.
All right, next we have Defiler of Instinct. It's 2 colorless and 2 red for a 4/4 first strike. Phyrexian Kavu. As an additional cost to cast red permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost a red less to cast if you paid life this way. This effect reduces only the amount of red mana you pay. Whenever you cast a red permanent spell, it deals 1 damage to any target. To me, that's worse, almost worse than +1/+1 in Menace. I don't know. I guess you could ping a couple things. It could be okay, but is the 4/4 first strike? That's also slightly worse than 1/1 in Menace. But like being able to dump your hand in a red deck could be huge. Could be huge. So I'm gonna still put it at an 8 for now, but this could be the worst one.
I think this one's a 7. Like the body on it's pretty good. You know, you gotta really think about these are red permanent spells. You know, it's not just spells, so you can't tack on extra 1 damage to your other, your shocks, your +1 things like that. So I don't know. It's probably good. I mean, it's going to be good. This thing's going to tear up some things, and it's just that first strike's going to just rip through a bunch of players. But I think 7's pretty strong for this.
I have this at 8. This is like the second best one. Like, this is what you want to be doing in the red deck. Like, this is so much better than the black one. Like the fact that it's just you're just dealing face damage. Like, just tacking it onto all your creatures deals 1 damage face. That's gross. This is gonna be like your best red card.
Next up is the Elder Dragon War. 2 colorless, 2 red, an enchantment saga with read ahead. Chapter 1. The Elder Dragon War deals 2 damage to each creature and to each opponent. Chapter 2 is discard any number of cards, draw that many cards. And Chapter 3 is create a 4/4 dragon creature with flying. This is an 8. I just think every one of those abilities is pretty good for 4.
I think this is like specifically for the dirtily decks. I don't think you want this in like your normal red decks. Like the fact that you're dealing 2 damage to everything. Like this is like big red, super slow dirtle card. I don't think I have this on like a high 6. I don't think you want this in every red deck.
You def-
I guess the fact that you can read ahead, yeah, maybe, but I kind of was discounting that. Maybe a
you
7.
definitely want this in every red deck because bottom worst possible thing this is a 4/4 flyer for 4. That's the worst case scenario. Which is very good. This is a 9. Because anything better than that is almost a 10. And a 4/4 for 4, like I'm signed up, that's an 8. So this is a 9.
But next we have Jaya, Fiery Negotiator, which is 2 and double red for 4 loyalty planeswalker with +1 of create a 1/1 red monk creature token with prowess. -1, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. You may play that card until the end of turn. -2, choose target creature and opponent controls. Whenever you attack this turn, Jaya, Fiery Negotiator deals damage equal to the number of attacking creatures to that creature. And -8, you get an emblem with whenever you cast a red instant or sorcery spell, copy it twice. You may choose new targets for the copies. Yeah, this is a 10. This is amazing. It does everything you want a planeswalker to do. It protects itself, gives you card advantage, has a dumb busted ultimate. This card's disgusting.
Yep, I agree. It's a 10. It's better than it's probably one of the best cards we've seen, if not the best card we've seen. It's a 10.
Yeah, this is definitely a 10. I mean, just protecting itself with the prowess monk is good. Getting card advantage after that is good. I mean, just being able to kill a creature afterwards, this is great. And the emblem, if you ever get to there, is definitely game ending. So there you go. 10.
All right, next we have Kaladin Flame Sage, 2 colors and a red for a 2/3 with enlist. Whenever it attacks, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is its power. You may exile an instant or sorcery card with mana value X or less from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. This seems pretty good. I'm not like super stoked. It's obviously going to be a little bit better in the instant, like the spells matter, but I think it's fine on its own. Like if you can just bump this up to a 4/3 when it attacks, it trades with something and gets you a lightning strike. That's like a pretty good line. So I think it's just a solid 7, turning towards 8.
I got it as 7 as well. Just anytime you can get some extra cards for free with that kind of getting in there, you get the enlist going. It's pretty good. And 3 toughness isn't that bad.
I've got this. I've got this at like a 5. I think like in like the spells matter deck, this is gonna be like a 6. But like I don't think you're gonna hit all that often off this. Like I don't know. I'm not high on this. I think this is gonna end up whiffing, and you're gonna feel really bad about your life. Like paying like a 3 mana for a 2/3 and like your aggro decks. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. Got a 5.
All right. Next up is Arata's Firebrand. 1 colorless, 1 red for a 3/1 human warrior. Whenever Arata's Firebrand attacks, target creature defending player controls with power less than Rada's Firebrand's power cannot block this turn. Domain. 5 colorless and a red. Rada's Firebrand gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. This ability cost of 1 less to activate for each basic land type among lands you control. Activate only once per turn. This is pretty solid. 3/1 gets a little bit bigger and then just can't block against it for the most part once it gets bigger. It's kind of one of the rare ones where you want to pump it before you attack. So no tricking there. I think it's kind of good. It's definitely like a 6 going on a 7. Probably more of a 7 in the right aggressive build.
I don't think that I've got a 6. I don't think it's gonna be amazing, but I think you probably want to like a hyper aggro deck, but I don't think it's too amazing.
Yeah, I mean, on the play, it feels like this is getting in at least 3 to 6 damage on it just by itself.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
super good.
It's good.
Yeah,
Dies to everything, but
I mean, it dies to certain things because like you make one thing not be able to block. So
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's a good 2-drop. Like when you play it on 2, it's gonna be gross.
should be one of the better 2 drops in the format. Yeah, for sure. Like I don't know if I.
I don't think you're gonna be domaining an aggro deck so
Yeah, but
badly.
like
Like
that's a good option to have because it costs 4 mana later. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think you want tap lands and this card in the same deck all that often.
yeah, but if you're
You
2
know?
colors, it just costs 4 to give it +2/+2 and something bigger you
Yeah.
can't block. That's not a big deal. Especially like given the board state,
Yeah.
if you can like push, if it's gonna help you push damage through. I don't know. Could be good. It's a 7.
Runevelt Hordemaster, which is 1 and a red for 1/1 Goblin Warrior. Other goblins you control get +1/+1. Whenever Runevelt Hordemaster and another goblin you control dies, exile the top card of your library. If it's a goblin creature card, you may cast that card till the end of your next turn. I've had every card with the most amount of text. I have. This has so much text it literally does nothing. It's like a 1. It's a 2-mana 1/1. You're not getting a goblin deck. This card's unplayable. Don't put it in your deck. Maybe a 2.
So let me get this straight. You're not getting a goblin deck. You're not getting a soldier deck, but you are getting a cleric deck.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to double check that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just make it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just was making sure. Like I'm just writing this down,
I
taking notes.
appreciate. Oh, I appreciate
Yeah.
that you're taking
Okay.
notes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's super good. I saw the top 1 card of your library, and if it's a goblin, you can cast it.
I go back to 1. Actually, 0. Don't play this card.
You know what? Sign me up for a 2.
I'll sign me up for a 1. I love me some goblins, and it's gonna be insane in an actual devoted goblin
Be
deck.
fun.
But this thing's gonna combo off something crazy when it gets there. But I think in this set, I mean, there's just no way you're getting a real goblin deck for this. So 1.
All right, next we have Shivan Devastator. X and a red for flying haste, 0/0. Enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. This is Fireball and a stick. This is a 9, maybe even a 10. Flying haste Fireball is disgusting. You know what? 10 me. Yeah.
Can you? I got a 9, but this thing is this thing is great. Every time you're wanting to play this, it is good.
9, it's a fucking beating. Yeah, for sure.
All right, then we have Squid, Dubious Monarch. 2 colorless and a red for a 2/2 haste creature. He's a legendary creature, goblin noble. Whenever Squid Dubious Monarch attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that is tapped and attacking. You may cast Squid Dubious Monarch from your graveyard by paying 3 colorless and a red and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard rather than paying its mana cost. This guy's pretty good. I mean, cards like these things are great. Squid coming back is really good, very flavorful in his ways there. I like it. I got to give Squee a 7 here.
I got a 6. I don't think you're gonna get him back more than once in a game. It's solid, but it's a 3/3 haster. Like that's how I see it. Like a 3/3,
Mhm.
3/3 and stats with haste, pretty decent, but comes back once maybe.
Those 1/1
It's okay.
red goblins that are attacking are almost always going to get blocked. And so it's
And they're
almost,
all getting
yeah, it's
chunked. Yeah, it's kind of
almost
irrelevant.
non-existent. Like, and if they are getting through, then obviously the card's amazing. But I don't know, a 2/2 ace for 3 that makes a 1/1. Like if it wasn't attacking, it would be way better. But it's a 6 for me.
Next we have Temporal Firestorm, which is 3 and 2 red for another super long text card. It's a sorcery with kicker 1 and a white and or 1 and a blue. Choose up to X creatures and or planeswalkers you control where X is the number of times the spell was kicked. Those permanents phase out. Temporal Firestorm deals 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. I would probably give this 8. This is basically hostile takeover.
Yeah, this is like almost better than hostile takeover because you get to save two things, but it costs a bajillion. Costs what, 9 to save 2 things? That's pretty high. But yeah, it's like a 9. It's super good.
Yeah, I got it at an 8. I think it's just good. It's very, very strong. I mean, if you get to kick it one time, you got to be able to win that game.